Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so I really wanted to do this Ramadan thing, and I'm recording it hopefully a few days before I shared it the group, just because I have a bit of free time right now. So, okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. This is Surah Baqarah, Ayah 183. This is the Ayah of fasting, as we commonly call it. Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believed, kutiba alaykum as-siyama, that fasting has been made obligatory upon you, made farḍ upon you. كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم, as it was made farḍ upon those before you. لعلكم تتقون, so that you may have taqwa, so that you may become from the muttaqeen, right? Now, how does fasting lead to taqwa? And we touched upon this a bit in the methodology of jihad section, but we'll go over it again. So, what is taqwa essentially? First, let's understand. Taqwa is, if you commonly see, look at the translation or the general meaning of taqwa in English, they will say fearing Allah, right? Fear of Allah, which is right, which isn't wrong. So, fear of Allah, fear of upsetting Him, and fear of upsetting Him that leads to righteous deeds. That is taqwa. Now, how is fasting, staying hungry for the entire day, gonna lead to taqwa? How does that work? So, technically speaking, fasting directly, if you consider fasting just simply staying hungry, that won't really, I don't want to say it absolutely won't, but the goal that is to be achieved from Saum, that you won't really benefit from it. Why? We'll try and see in this session. So we'll skip this one ayah in between, because this is about those who are ill or fasting or on a journey. They can make up those fasts later, right? This is the fidya of a missed fast and all. Now, in ayah 185, the second ayah after that, Allah says, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. That شهر Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, الذي أنزل, is the month in which we sent down, in which أنزل فيه القرآن, the Quran was sent down, the Quran was revealed, right? Now, again, if we think about it, why was fasting made obligatory in Ramadan? Why not Muharram? Why not Shaban? Why not Dhul Hijjah? Those are all important months. So why not those? Why specifically Ramadan? Why did this have to coincide with the month of the revelation of Quran? There must be some relation with the Quran, right? There must be some inherent connection between fasting and Quran. So Allah says, Hudal linnas. The Quran is hidayah, guidance for the people, for the public, for the masses, linnas. وَبَيِّنَاتٍ مِّنَ الْهُدَى وَالْفُرْقَانِ. So bayinat we already discussed. It's open, clear, apparent, not hidden. Min al-huda, from hidayah. Wal-furqan, and furqan. Now, what is furqan? Hidayah, we've discussed that. It's guidance, nur, all of that. Furqan. Furqan, so the root word for furqan is faraqa. Farq, right? Something that differentiates, a criteria. Something that differentiates between good and bad, truth and falsehood, evil and good deeds, bad deeds, wrong and right, all of that. Now, that is the Quran, right? So it's not just guidance, it's also a criterion, something that you can use to measure things. It's also mizan, right? And okay, the rest of this, actually, let's do the ayah. Allah says, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْهُ. So, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ, whichever of you sees this month, uh, and generally the translation done of this is whoever sees the moon of this month, the crescent of this month, فَلْيَصُمْهُ, then he must fast, he should fast. وَمَنْ كَانَ مَرِيضًا أَوْ عَلَى سَفَرٍ فَعِدَّةٌ مِنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرَ. But if, and whoever is sick or in traveling in a journey, فَعِدَّةٌ, then for him is the count of those days. عِدَّة is from the root عَدَدَ, counting. So for him is counting min ayyamin ukhar, in any later day, from the later days. يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ بِكُمُ الْيُسْرَ. Allah intends for you yusr, ease, comfort. وَلَا يُرِيدُ بِكُمُ الْعُسْرَ. And He does not intend for you hardship, usr, difficulty. وَلِتُكْمِلُ الْعِدَّةِ. So complete your counting, your iddah. وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهُ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ. Now, وَلِتُكَبِّرُوا اللَّهُ, and establish and like make Allah great. Tukabbiru is from the same root as we discussed in methodology of jihad. We discussed takbir, takbir of Allah, making Allah great. What does making Allah great mean? Well, He is the greatest. He is Akbar, Allahu Akbar. But that just saying Allahu Akbar doesn't make Allah great, right? You need to actually follow His commandments. Making Allah great means making His commands, making His orders great, making His ayat the greatest, making sure that His commands are on top and anything we do doesn't conflict with those commands, right? So that is وَلِتُكَبِّرُ اللَّهُ عَلَى مَا هَدَاكُمْ, in that which He has guided you, for that which He has guided you. So this makes it further clear that you have to make Allah great over that, for that which He has guided you. So the commands which He has given you, the guidance which He has given you, follow it. That is what making Him great means. وَلَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. And perhaps, maybe, that some of you will do shukr, tashkurun, will be among the shakirin, will be grateful, will show gratitude, right? Okay. Actually, we'll come back to this ayah after discussing another reference ayah. For now, we'll go to Surah Al-Muzammil. Muzammil, right? So, now, this is gonna be the connection with the Quran that we need to understand, right? So, Allah says, Ya ayyuhal muzammil, O you who wraps himself in clothing. This is referring to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Qumil laylu illa qalila. Now, qum is the same root as qiyam, meaning stand. So stand meaning stand in prayer. Qumil layla. Qumil layla. I keep reading qumil laylu. Qumil layla. Stand at night. Illa qalila. Except a little bit. Qalila, that little bit, right? What does it mean? Stand in prayer. Pray. Spend time with Allah. Spend time with the Quran. During the night. Except for a little bit. So leaving out a little bit of time, spend most of the time with the Quran. Stand. Don't sleep all night. Right? And then in the next ayat, next two ayat actually, it tells us how much. So it says, nisfahu aw inqus minhu qalila. So nisfahu, half of it, aw, or. Unqus, subtract from it, reduce from it, take away from it, minhu qalila, a little bit, right? And in the next slide it says, aw zid alay, or increase in it a little bit. So the rough estimation would be half of it, a little bit less, or a little bit more. So half the night is the average, right? And it says أوزد عليه, or add to it, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا, that recite the Quran. Rattilil. Now rattilil is different from tatlu. It's not tilawat. Rattil means recite it slowly. Recite it in, like, or here it says recite with measured recitation. So recite slowly, recite thoughtfully. Why? Like, what's the purpose? Why recite slowly? Because it says, Inna sanulqi alayka qawlan thaqila. Indeed, we will cast upon you a heavy word, a heavy qawl, a heavy saying, right? Inna nashi'ata al-layli hiya ashaddu wata'an wa aqwamu qila. And indeed, the hours, the moments, the time of the night, nashi'at al-layli, hiya ashaddu, is more efficient, is more conducive, wata'u, to sort of crush, to break down, wa aqwamu qila, and to build back up, aqwamu qila, the words. So again, look at these two ayat, 5 and 6. That Allah is saying, we will cast upon you a heavy word. It's not going to be easy to understand this. It's not going to be easy to process this. It's going to be hard. It is a heavy word. It's not easy to digest. And we must remember that Allah has said that if this Quran was revealed onto a mountain, the mountain would break and explode into pieces, shatter into pieces. So do not underestimate the power and the weight of this Quran, right? But the moments of the night are more conducive for what? For the breaking and then the reconciliation. Wata'u is, if you look at it, it says kuchalna. So kuchalna is crushing, to break down this human existence, wa aqwamu qila, and to then reestablish it, reestablish this word, right? The qila, the word of Allah that He's revealing. So, and this is directly talking to the Prophet, but we need to understand it's the same word. We are the same human beings. Like, it's all the same thing. So, now why am I saying, why did I bring up all of this? Because the point of fasting is incomplete unless you, like, the philosophy is incomplete unless you spend time with the Quran at night. Why? Because why fast? Why stay hungry and thirsty for 12, 13, 14 hours a day? What is the point of it? The point of it is that this physical existence, this body, this nafs, this gets weakened a bit. This gets broken down a bit. We take away the strength from it. Why? So that a vacuum is created, a power vacuum is created. And in this power vacuum, we want to strengthen the ruh, the spiritual existence, right? And what will strengthen it? The food for this ruh is Quran. And we discussed this a bit more in depth in the methodology of jihad part as well, discussion as well. But the food for this ruh is the Quran. So when you're weakening the body, the point isn't just to weaken the body for the mere sake of weakening the body. The point is so that you can create space for the ruh to be revived, for the ruh to open its eyes again, to wake up, to get a sense of what's happening, right? And to sort of strengthen a bit. We spent 11 months out of the year feeding this body. Now is the time to feed the ruh. Give 1 month to the ruh. Strengthen it a bit. Help it wake up. Take the curtains of jahiliyyah and walala away from it. Pull it into the light. Give it the nur. Right? So, and this is, we didn't get a chance to discuss Surah Nur, but that covers this aspect of the differentiation of ruh and wahi and how the two nurs combine. If you get a chance, do study the tafsir of Surah Nur, ayah 35, if I'm not mistaken. Basically the ayah which has Nurun ala Nur. That is a really eye-opening thing to go through, actually. Anyways, let's get back to the topic. So the point is, stand with the Quran half of the night, or a little less, or a little more. So what we have done on the other hand, though, is we choose the fastest tarawih. We're like, this place, they spend an hour and a half. No, but that place, it's 15 minutes away, but they complete their tarawih in an hour, flat. So yeah, let's go there. What happened to قُمِ اللَّيْلُ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا نِصْفَهُ أَوْ انْقُصْ مِنْهُ قَلِيلًا أَوْ زِدْ عَلَيْهِ وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. Where is رَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا? You're supposed to recite it slowly. Why? So it goes into your heart. You don't want, if the point was finishing the Quran, I can play Sheikh Sudais on 10x speed and he'll get done in half an hour, probably even less. That's not the point. The point is رَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. Recite it slowly, recite it measuredly, recite it in a way that it actually goes into the heart. That's the point. To feed the ruh. The ruh isn't being fed if you're going at 120 words per minute. You get the point? So this is the actual philosophy of fasting. Weaken the body, weaken the nafs, strengthen the ruh. We actually don't even do the weakening part right. Yes, we stay hungry from Fajr till Maghrib, and then how much we eat in Maghrib, then, the only thing we can do is sleep. After eating all that much, we can't even stay awake for the 1 hour of Taraweeh that we do. People are literally falling. What about people? I'm telling you about myself. When I'm not attending Dawra Tarjuma Quran, when I'm understanding things, I'm falling asleep. I'm literally falling asleep. That's literally breaking every possible purpose of Taraweeh and fasting. We fail to weaken the body. We fail to strengthen the soul. All we do is just stay hungry and then eat like animals. What was the point? There was no point. There was no purpose, right? And now, when you do this, when you strengthen the soul, when you weaken the body, then we'll go back to Surah Al-Baqarah here, 186 actually. So we discussed till 185 that لَعَلَّكُمْ تَشْكُرُونَ. Now in the next ayah, Allah says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. Now this ruh that has just woken up. Imagine someone who fainted, right? Imagine you're like someone fainted, right? What's the first thing they ask when they wake up? They ask for a loved one. They ask, where's my wife? Where's my husband? Where's my parents? Where's my kid? Right? So when this ruh has just woken up, what will it do? It will ask about Allah, because this ruh came from Allah, right? So Allah is responding to this question. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي, when my servants, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ, when they ask you about me, عَنِّي, when وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ, when you are asked عِبَادِي, by my servants, عَنِّي, about me, فَإِنِّي قَرِيب, then say that I am definitely قريب, very near to them. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ, I respond, I answer to the call of every person who calls. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ, I respond to the dua, the call, the invocation of everyone, every single person who makes dua, every single person who calls upon me. Now, فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. Now, this is the important part. But he should also respond to me. He should also respond when I call. He should also listen to me. وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي. He should also believe in me. He should also have iman in me. And this is true iman. He should also believe in me. He should also follow my commandments. He should also fulfill the orders that I've given him. Right? لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ, so that you may receive rushd, so that you may be guided, right? And this is the entire essence, that once the ruh is woken up, once the ruh is asking about its Lord, then Allah says, فَإِنِّي قَرِيب, indeed I am قَرِيب. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ, I answer. You just ask. Why don't you ask me? Allah comes down to Asmane Dunya every night, to the very last heaven, to the heaven above us every night, and calls out and says, is there anyone asking for forgiveness that I may forgive him? Is there anyone asking for hidayah, for guidance that I may guide him? Or is sleep more important to you? We need to realize, أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. You don't need any filter. You don't need any connector. You don't need to go through a priest or a monk or a nun or a rabbi or anyone. You don't need to go through an imam. You don't need to go through a peer. You don't need to go through anyone. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. Allah responds directly to the call of every supplicator. To everyone who makes dua, Allah responds to their dua. You can be the worst of creation. You can be the literal sharrul bariyah, the worst of sinners. But Allah responds to you when you make dua. Allah responds. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. But it's not just one-sided. He will respond. You go to him, you take one step towards him, he will take 10 steps towards you. You extend a hand towards him, he will extend his whole arm towards you. You walk to him, he will run to you. But the condition is, فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. You should also respond to him. You should also, respond to his call. When he says, Hayya ala salah, you need to respond to that. Right? وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي. you should also have faith in him, believe in him, have iman in him. It's not one-sided that you keep asking and he keeps giving, but you don't do anything. That's not how it works. It's two-sided, right? لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. Now, understand the importance of لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ here. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي, that they should respond. They should respond to Allah's call. وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي, and they should have faith. They should have iman. They should believe. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. Maybe some of them will be, so that they may be guided, so that they may have gain rushd. Meaning, to gain rushd, you need these two things. You need both of these things. You need to respond to Allah, and you need to have iman in him, so that you may be guided. Right? Guidance isn't a blanket thing that, I've often heard people say, oh, you are a namazi, you pray, right? So pray for my guidance as well. Pray for my hidayat as well. I'm like, is this a joke? Praying for hidayah. I can pray for your hidayah, but Allah will not give you hidayah until you actually want hidayah yourself. That hidayah, Allah can give hidayah to whomever He wants. I'm not going in that direction, na'udhu billah. But Allah has made it clear. He doesn't give hidayah. He doesn't change the condition of people until they change what is in themselves. You can't just be like, oh, pray for my hidayah. When I get hidayah, I'll pray namaz as well. No, that's not how it works. You start praying, and then Allah will give you hidayah. Right? So hidayah isn't something that's free. You need to earn it. You need to strive for it. You need to make efforts for it. And same with rushd. Rushd and hidayah are synonyms. In essence, they're the same thing. They're guidance, right? So for rushd, you need to فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي, you need to respond to Allah when He calls. وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي, you need to have iman in Him. True iman. Iman that is in your heart, not on your tongues. It not iqrarum bil lisan. We need tasdeequm bil qalb. Right? So this is the philosophy of Ramadan, right? This is the connection between Quran and Sawm, fasting. This is the purpose of fasting. This is the purpose of Qiyamul Lail. Break down the body a bit. Give the ruh some strength. Give the ruh some food. Give it the power. Give it a fighting chance against this nafs and shaitan. Right now, the ruh is asleep. There are so many curtains upon curtains upon curtains of jahiliyyah over it that it can't even see what is happening. It can't even differentiate between right and wrong. Give it a chance to breathe. Let it wake up. Let it live a bit. Give it some food. Give it some strength. And then see how Allah gives you rushd, gives you hidayah. May Allah give all of us the hidayah needed to succeed in this life and in the hereafter, especially in the hereafter. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.